Hey everybody, Grand Rising to you. Um, Today I wanted to talk about peace. I'm going to do my best to not make this video very long, but how many of us really have peace in our life? I mean, even those of us who are woke, like how many of us really have peace? Is it even possible to have unlimited peace on a planet that's literally designed for the majority of its inhabitants to constantly learn lessons? Like, think about that. And for the majority of my viewers who don't go that deep with thought, and I mean no offense, everybody's on their journey at a different pace. But when you really think about all the stuff we've been through in life, all the different personalities we have to deal with, just the circumstances in general, for your average person, is not a very tranquil experience. It's a very testing experience. And with that being said, do we really experience real peace if we're going by the definition in the dictionary? Freedom of disturbance, tranquility. Do we really experience that consistently? Or do we only get it in small portions, moderation? Because I saw something yesterday and it said, do not make decisions when you are happy. No, do not make promises when you're happy. And I thought about that. I'm like, do not make promises when you're happy. And then I went back and I reflected on a lot of different situations in my past where when I've made promises when I'm happy, them things never seem to pan out. They never seem to pan out. And I used to wonder, why is that? Because that could really upset someone's peace. Now, we experience peace, like I said, in moderation. Because you'll have moments of peace, moments of tranquility, moments of when you feel free. And they could come in the form of, temporary excitement, like everything's going just right. And then you had those moments where things just go to shit. It's like, and it's almost like it's by design. Now, there are ancient studies that tell the tale of these things being by design. But you don't think fat meat greasy until you put it in your mouth sometimes. Even when you just got finished eating a greasy ass piece of food. I'm just using that as a metaphor. I haven't had meat in quite a while. And my body feels great, as soon as I get over these sharp pains I be having in my feet and legs from time to time. But that's just overworking, exercising and stuff. So there's supplements for that. Natural supplements. But not to get off topic. What I need you to do is really think about what it is you can do to create more peace in your life as you dwell on this planet. Because that's what I'm going to do. And sometimes you have to do things to get the peace you want that you normally don't feel comfortable doing. That may mean you have to eliminate certain situations from your life. You may have to eliminate certain people from your life. And for people who you can't really eliminate from your life, you may have to strictly distance yourself to such a degree that it's like that person doesn't even exist in your life. Now me, I come from a real family. I'm just going to put that out there because I'm very proud of it. Because a lot of the people who I've grown to love, like certain friends or associates or what the case may be, a lot of them don't come from the type of background I come from. And I always feel like they got cheated. Because when you come from a certain situation or a certain lifestyle, especially a unified family, you tend to do things a lot more. Well, I can't say that because haven't walked in everybody's shoes. But what I've noticed from what I've seen when comparing how I operate in with life circumstances versus people who don't come from like a unified household or a unified family, like everything they put on TV, like Family Matters, The Cosby's, Full House, like all of that shit was my life growing up. And I'm just so thankful for it because this system, this society has really done a number on a lot of people who don't come from that. But one thing I will say, like I was telling a really good friend of mine, it's a good friend of mine named Noor. Like I love that dude, man. He's a rare breed. He is a rare fucking breed. And I was telling him, like, people who don't come from where I come from, and I know there's other people out there who come from where I come from. That's why I can say this, because there is a difference. Like, people who don't come from where I come from, they can make the best teachers because they have the experience of what it didn't look like. And people like myself can be the best examples of what to aspire, or the lifestyles, or the morals, the values. Like, we can be the best examples. We may not be the best teachers because we don't have certain experiences, but we could be the best examples for family, relationships, friendships, because we come from a community of unity. And what I learned after I left medicine and went into alternative medicine, which it shouldn't even be called alternative medicine because that's real medicine, but what society calls alternative medicine, when I got into alternative medicine, because I'm working on my PhD right now, and I realized that I lost, before I got into alternative medicine, I realized I had lost over half my family to the field I used to work in. And all of my peace was like stripped away, because these are prominent figures. My parents, my parents' aunts and uncles and elders. Like, the only elder I have left biologically, as far as like a grandparent, so there's one grandma. Like, all the other grandparents are gone. My parents are gone. Great aunts and uncles gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? I grew up with peace already being instilled. I'm telling you, like, it's traumatic. And I realized growing up, all the hardships and things I had to go through, I'm going through them because I didn't have to go through them excuse me, in the beginning stages of my upbringing. And then what I noticed when I research other people, whether they be celebrities or whatever, a lot of them who didn't come from that type of background, they create that life for themselves because they didn't have it when they were growing up. So I just want to know, like, how many of us really have peace? And for those of us who have experienced it, how do we go about keeping that peace? Who do we have to eliminate or distance ourselves from? What lifestyle changes do we have to make in order to keep that type of sensation going in our life? Because if you've ever experienced peace, whether it was brought to you by having enough money to take care of whatever you need to take care of, by, eliminating toxic people out your life, by getting that job that you always wanted, that career you always wanted, finishing school, whatever creates that sensation of having peace or that feeling of everything's going to be all right. How do we create or maintain that? I'm going to start because this morning, I literally, and I'm not putting any business out in detail, but this morning I literally I just reached my boiling point. Because there's some adults in my life who really, to this day, have been consistent with their most toxic behavior. And I now have to make certain moves that I never wanted to make just so that I can have peace. And I was going to do a video of peace a week ago, and I didn't. And it wasn't going to be all the way like how this video is. But everything happens in divine timing, with me anyway. So I'm going to make certain moves because a lot of people in my life have to grow up. And the best way for someone to grow up is you have to put the pressure on them. Because if you don't, they're going to keep mistreating you. They're going to keep being ungrateful. And that takes away your peace. And if you've been consistent with being good, you've been consistent with being a support system, despite all of everything that these people have taken you through or are taking you through. When they're not doing their best and you are, and you don't throw it in their face all the time. You may throw reminders, but you're not like consistently trying to make their life a living hell by reminding them of how I don't want to say sorry, but how disappointing they have been or are being. You just have to do what you have to do, because you have to learn how to love yourself. And even though those of us who think we're loving ourselves all the way, sometimes that's not the case. We're not loving ourselves enough. We give other people more chances and opportunities than we would give ourselves because we have a good heart. And toxic people sometimes don't know that they're toxic. They actually think that they're fine. But if you look at the way they're living, if you look at the things they talk about, if you listen to the music they listen to, if you see how they're controlled by their emotions and they use no logic and rationale, if you see how often they make excuses and how often they're complaining, but then you don't see no consistent change, 9 times out of 10, that's a person who needs help far beyond what you can give them. And the best way to help them is to help yourself and hold them accountable when they're not holding themselves accountable. Because they may hate you or dislike you now, but as they grow, they'll look back and they'll begin to appreciate you for you being firm with them because they needed it. See, sometimes you don't have to hurt people intentionally to try to get them to be a certain way that's comfortable for you. A lot of times you have to just be firm with a person and distance yourself also in the process of doing things to create that firm relationship so that that person can become a better person, especially if they have kids. Because if they have children and their children are nothing like them, imagine what the children are going to go through if they have to constantly look at someone in their life who's toxic. Imagine what the children may become if they take on those bad habits from the person in their life who is constantly toxic and who may or may not know that they're really toxic. These are things you have to do out there. Good men, good women, parents, aunts, uncles, spouses, wherever you are, if you're listening to this video, do whatever you have to do to create constant peace in your life as you live your life on this planet. I'm not saying going out there trying to hurt people on purpose, being petty or, or what's the word I'm looking for, spiteful or anything like that. But create a firm understanding, because you have to have enough love for yourself before you can truly love someone else. And sometimes you can love someone else so much that you lose love for yourself that you once had in the process. Hopefully this video has been helpful. I send you thoughts of bliss and good fortune. Have a great day. Take care.